right. Are we good,
Okay.
Kurt?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're rolling.
My name is Jay Pryor, and as the chair of the Human Relations Commission, I officially call this meeting to order. First, I will take a roll of commissioners present. Commissioners, if you would take yourselves off mute when I call your name and let us know verbally that you're here. Commissioner Falls.
Present.
Commissioner Caviello. He's not here. Commissioner Logan.
Present.
Commissioner Sellers.
He's just coming on.
Oh, good. I'll move and come back. Commissioner Bloxsom.
Present.
Commissioner Barnett. Commissioner Stevens. Commissioner Dahl.
Here.
And Commissioner Sellers. You're here.
Present.
And I think I'm missing someone on my list because Commissioner Flowers. Chris Flowers is.
Chris is not a commissioner, Jay. I think you got everyone called.
Okay, good. All right, so we have a quorum, and if you would please put your attention to the agenda. I'm going to go ahead and move item number 2 up to item number 1.
Commissioner Pryor, before we
Yes.
do that, Scott Wagner has some comments he needs to read for.
Got it. Okay, I thought he was going to go first, so I was waiting for that.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry about that. My name is Scott Wagner. I'm a legal analyst for the City Attorney's Office. I want to provide a few reminders to ensure that the provisions of the Kansas Open Meetings Act are met. Commissioners, you must state your name and title each time you speak. All motions will need to be stated clearly. After a motion is made and seconded, the chair, Jay Pryor, will call on commissioners individually to provide their vote. The chair will then need to announce whether the motion carried and the count of the vote. Various members of city staff are present via Zoom, and they must also state their name and title each time they speak. Individuals who signed up in advance to provide public comment remotely will be called upon by name. When you are called on, please unmute your listening device and state your name before speaking. The regular 3-minute time limit will apply. The chair will then call for in-person public comment for those without access to technology options. Staff will then direct persons to the podium to speak, following social distancing and safety protocols.
And the regular 3-minute time limit will apply. I think that concludes the Kansas Open Meetings Act remarks.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Okay, now I would like to draw your attention to the agenda, and we'll begin first by approving the minutes to approve the minutes from August 20th, 2020. I have a motion to invite a motion to approve the minutes.
Joseph Falls, Commissioner. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Can I get a second?
Commissioner Dahl here. I will second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Falls and seconded by Commissioner Dahl to approve the minutes from August 20th. All in favor, say aye. Do I have to do a roll call vote for that? Oh God, okay. So I'll do a roll call vote for that. Commissioner Falls,
Aye.
Commissioner Caviello, Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Sellers,
Aye.
Commissioner Bloxsom,
Aye.
Commissioner Dahl,
Aye.
and I say aye. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yays. Motion passes unanimously.
Commissioner Barnett is here, by the way.
Okay.
I can't start my video for some reason.
Okay, but we're good to know. We're happy to have you here. Thank you. And did you like to vote on approving the minutes?
Commissioner Barnett, aye.
And vote passes unanimously. Now, if I could draw your attention to the agenda, I would like to move agenda item number 2 to the first item. As I understand it, Commissioner Sellers needs to leave early. And Commissioner Sellers, you are on this committee, so I wanted to give you a priority to talk about this right off the bat. Would you like to go ahead and take over and share with us about reaffirming our Black Lives Matter statement?
Thank you, Commissioner Pryor. Just real quick, the group, which consisted of Commissioner Stevens and Commissioner Coviello, came together to revise the work that Commissioner Barnett had started in drafting a solidarity statement in regards to the current status of our country, how that would be reflected in our own community. And so I do appreciate the work that Commissioner Barnett took the initiative to create what would be a framework for what we use to continue drafting that and to create a more robust statement. The work that you see in front of you, if you've had the opportunity to review it, is pulled from several solidarity statements that we reviewed from other communities. So this was not something that was drafted from the minds of, part of it was drafted from the minds of us, of the commissioners that were tasked for this, but we did take inspiration from several messages that we thought would encapsulate what we wanted to see, what was essentially the charge of our commission and what we hope to accomplish. And so we're all adults here. I don't need to read this to everyone, but the idea was to provide us with an opportunity to go through the statement, to read through it, to have some intentional, honest conversation about it, to ensure that everyone on this commission supports what is written and feels like they are that they are up to the task, or that this commission is up to the task to ensure that this work is done and that it's completed and that it's ongoing. So with that being said, I'll yield the rest of my time for the commission to provide feedback as to if this is something that we need to go back and do some more drilling, do some restructuring. But I hope to yield a fruitful conversation from this. Sorry, I've been on a virtual conference all day, so I am tongue-tied and tired.
I understand. Thank you. Thank you for your time, Commissioner Sellers. And thank you for your time in drafting this. This is a powerful statement, and I appreciate, this took some work, and we really appreciate the work that you and Commissioner Stevens and Commissioner Coviello put into doing this work. So thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to open it up for discussion from commissioners regarding passing this, or could jump right to approval, but I want to hear if commissioners have thoughts or anything else, any other further discussion before we go to approval.
Commissioner Barnett here. I just noticed just a grammatical error in the first, or the very last sentence of the last paragraph, or the first paragraph. It is where it just says, from slavery to Jim Crow laws, racism continues to impact the lives of Black people in America today. I would just ask that that be edited. And then my only other point on this is at the very bottom, the very last sentence of the last paragraph, where we encourage people to contact us. I don't know if that's appropriate for a statement. I like it to just be strong, and this is what the commission believes, end of story. You know, we all have come together to make this statement. And so I guess I just, maybe the invitation is very kind and thoughtful, but perhaps unnecessary. That's my only comment with this. I am hugely grateful to this committee, Commissioner Sellers, Commissioner Stevens, and Commissioner Coviello, in enhancing this. I am proud of it and am happy with it. And that's all I have to say.
Could you further elaborate, Commissioner Barnett, in terms of that, the sentence that you were in terms of grammatics? I'm confused about what you want us to change, or do you want us to take out the whole sentence?
No, am I unmuted?
Yes, you're unmuted.
Sorry. It's just, it says in American today, and I was just.
Oh, in American today. Got it. In America.
Yeah.
So you just need to remove the N. You're asking to remove the N.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, just wanted to be specific because I'm like,
I
Okay.
moved to strike the American and replace it with America.
got it. I would like any other commissioners to comment or have thoughts on Commissioner Barnett's changes.
This is
Commissioner,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Dahl.
thank you. Commissioner Dahl here. I just wanted
Commissioner
to,
Summers, I can't hear you. I'm not sure if that's my computer or,
can you guys hear me?
yeah, now I can.
Okay. Commissioner Dahl here. I just wanted to support what Commissioner Barnett had mentioned in terms of possible changes, and also what has already been said about the strength of what has been written here, and my appreciation for those that were involved in it. And I also wanted to underscore something that I thought was an excellent way to end this statement at the very bottom, where it says we are not in a short-lived moment. And I think that's a really important point to make. So those are my thoughts.
So it sounds like there's support for, and what we're looking to do is also to strike out the line that says, we encourage you to contact us with your concerns, ideas, and initiatives. We look forward to continued dialogue and sustain long-term efforts involving all community members. We want to strike out all of that and just end with, we're not in a short-lived moment, but in a crucial movement that leads to change.
This is Commissioner Bloxsom. I understand the issue. I understand what Commissioner Barnett is saying about we encourage you to contact us with your concerns, and I get the fear behind that. However, as a commission, and I would support just that sentence, but I like we look forward to continued dialogue and sustained long-term efforts involving all community members, because part of our charge is not only to end racism, but build community relations. And if we're going to be one-sided on this, while it's an excellent statement, I'm always iffy about shutting down dialogue, because dialogue creates change. And so I would move that I can see why we encourage you to contact us with your concerns, ideas, and initiatives, removing that part, but including continued dialogue when we're talking about getting surveys, when we're talking about getting feedback from the community. I kind of would like to leave that an open-ended invitation. So whether or not it remains in this statement, I think it's also important that we acknowledge that not everyone feels the same. And with dialogue are we going to educate. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Commissioner Dahl here, and I agree with Commissioner Bloxsom, and I wonder if that statement has a better place, if that last statement of the statement, where it says we encourage you to contact us, I wonder if that would have a better place somewhere on the website where this is going to be appearing.
I think from the website, there's already an opportunity, or, I think we already say you can contact us on the website, don't we? Yes.
Commissioner Barnett here. Yes, it's on the website, and that was the only sentence I was referring to in that paragraph. I'm sorry, I wasn't very clear.
No. I'm glad we got the clarification. That's good.
So, yeah. Just that
Okay.
one sentence, Commissioner Bloxsom, I agree and appreciate your comment. Thanks.
Yeah. I would love to hear Commissioner Sellers, if you have thoughts on, since this is something that you really worked on hard, how you feel about those adjustments.
Oh, I'm totally on board with it. I'm sitting here going through my mind how to rework that last sentence into the final paragraph, so that we can blend them together. So as far as what Commissioner Bloxsom and Commissioner Barnett has stated, I am in total agreement with it. I don't think it takes anything away from it, from the statement itself. The idea is that the statement is welcoming, and that in discussing this with Commissioner Stevens and Commissioner Coviello, is wanted to give the commission a charge and a sense of accountability in our role, but also the role that we play in ensuring that our city commissioners and our mayor and city staff supports us in this effort. And so there are other opportunities and ways that we can articulate that. It doesn't necessarily have to be in this statement. So I'm fine with it. I'm not fine. I'm okay with it. And I'm just trying to go through my mind as to tease the wording out. I think the biggest thing for me is wanting to hear back from the commissioners if they felt the bullet points were things that this commission could accomplish, but to also make sure that we, from a city standpoint, and I don't know how much legal has looked at this, if this statement functions within the parameters of this commission. So I didn't want us to feel like we were biting off something that was out of our lane and out of our scope, but I also wanted to ensure that this was something that if it was within that everyone felt comfortable and confident in executing it. So.
Got it. Thank you. So moving forward, I think that what we're looking at then is to have a motion, which Commissioner Bloxsom already made, was to approve this statement as is, minus that one sentence we encourage, and with just the "in" taken off. Basically, that's a typo of the word America.
Chair Pryor,
Yeah.
this is Assistant City Manager Casey Toomay. I believe there's public comment on this item as well. Is that correct, Scott? Maybe I'm mixed up.
I was sent public comment about the kiosk, but I did get an email.
Oh, okay.
But
It
it
wasn't-
didn't come in as public comment.
My apologies, I had it mixed up.
No, that's okay. I'm glad we clarified. Thank you.
And while I have the mic, if I may, the last bullet point that refers to the eventual equity manager, I don't know if it matters to you all or not. The position title is Director of Equity and Inclusion. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and update that as well.
Sure. Got it. So currently then we're looking for a motion to approve the statement as is, minus that sentence, and with the change in the Director of Equity and Inclusion, and then the typo with the "n" taken out. So
Commissioner Pryor, this is Commissioner Sellers. Just wanted to present to the commissioners a possible replacement for that last paragraph that includes the final sentence and then the rework.
okay.
Just for the sake of fluidity and passing this, we could possibly motion for this to be approved with the corrections, and so that we can, I know that the corrections are being documented, but I wanted to make sure that it's articulated in a way that we know what those corrections are. So my thoughts on the last sentence, the last paragraph: the Human Rights Commission looks forward to building on our strengths to assist in addressing critical areas that we must improve in our community. And then go into, we are not in a short-lived moment, but a crucial movement that leads to continued dialogue and sustained long-term efforts involving all community partners. And we just end it there.
I like that. That's powerful. Other thoughts?
Commissioner Barnett here. It's the Human Relations Commission, not the Human Rights Commission. So we just need to ahead.
How did I do that? Wow.
Most of the other cities who have a similar commission call it a Human Rights Commission. So I understand. While I am here, I like that, Commissioner Sellers. That sounds beautiful.
It was powerful and gave me chills. Very nice.
Commissioner Logan here, and I figured I should speak. That was excellent. Please keep that amendment.
Yeah. So, Commissioner Sellers, can you form that in terms of a motion that, since you articulated it so beautifully and I don't have your words in front of me, if you could form that in terms of a motion, I think we could just move forward on this.
Well, I'm going to yield to Casey, but based on my parliamentary knowledge, I want to cheat and say, can I move that we accept the Black Lives Matter solidarity statement as presented with the necessary corrections? Question mark?
This is Casey, yes.
So we have a motion. Can I get a second for that?
Commissioner Logan, I second that motion.
Great. So we have a movement. I will go now for a vote. Commissioner Falls,
100% yes.
Commissioner Logan,
Take myself off mute. Commissioner Logan, yes.
thank you. Commissioner Sellers,
Aye.
Commissioner Bloxsom,
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett,
Aye.
Commissioner Dahl,
Aye.
and I say aye, and we pass unanimously. Yes. And thank you all for that. I know, Commissioner Sellers, that you have to cut out. So once again, we just want to appreciate you and thank you for your time, for your commitment, and for your services in putting that together.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure. So look forward to what we can do with this statement and what this commission can do collectively with our other commissioners and boards. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
You bet. Thank you. Okay. Next, we'll receive a monthly case update report.
Beth, I started to call you Elizabeth again. Beth, would you
Beth.
like to take it away?
Good evening, commissioners. This is Elizabeth Hafoka, or Beth, and I'm the supervising city prosecutor. And I did submit the case report in writing, so everyone can follow along. For those of you that are new, I give the case report at each scheduled meeting to provide the commission an update of pending discrimination investigations that are happening, as well as cases that have been closed since the previous meeting. So currently we have 2 open investigations. One case involves housing discrimination and the basis is national origin, and another case involves housing discrimination and the basis is sex male. Though there were no cases closed since the August 20, 2020 meeting. At the last meeting, there was a request to include a summary of all of the inquiries that were received by the Human Relations Office. So I did include that here. I wasn't going to read through everything, but I just tried to include the date and not specifically with names, but provide the citizen complaint and then how the Human Relations Office handled that inquiry. Are there any questions?
Okay. Well, thank you, Beth. We appreciate that. Any other questions, thoughts?
This is Commissioner Barnett. I just want to say thank you for this report. In reading through the potential calls that you all received there in your office was incredibly enlightening. And I just want to thank Commissioner Bloxsom for bringing that to our attention, because you're fielding a lot of really interesting complaints, but also a lot of things that, you know, we would consider, you know, is that borderline? Do we need some community education on that subject? It may not qualify for a complaint, but it seems like we do need to talk about that a little bit more. So I really appreciate that addition to your report. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Bloxsom. Elizabeth, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This really did, it was eye-opening to me. It was eye-opening to me to see what you field. It was also eye-opening to see that there are citizens that are reaching out to get some kind of help. And I totally agree with Commissioner Barnett that as we look at these, we can start to find trends and maybe look at appropriate places. But if people are feeling harmed in our community, we need to know about it. And thank you so much. I know this is time consuming. I know you have a lot on your plate, but this was absolutely what I was looking for. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay. Next thing on our agenda is consider designating a subcommittee of the Human Relations Commission to work with staff and others to help develop questions for community kiosk project regarding systemic racism. The action would be to designate this committee, the subcommittee of the Human Relations Committee. We do have some community comments on that. Do I read the community comment, or does somebody from staff need to read that?
This is Casey Toomay, Assistant City Manager and Staff Liaison. Typically, we don't read the comment. We just have it available. I believe all of the commissioners received it. Is that correct? You could,
Just want to check in with all the commissioners to be sure you've all had a chance to see the public comment and read it. Yes, 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 all the way around. Okay. So given that, is there any further conversation or discussion we'd like to have about designating a subcommittee for this work?
Commissioner Barnett here. I move we designate a subcommittee for this work, and I volunteer to be on the subcommittee. Second.
Great. It's been moved and seconded that we designate a subcommittee for this work. I can go ahead and take a vote, and then we can look at volunteers. Commissioner Falls?
Aye.
Commissioner Logan?
Aye.
Commissioner Bloxsom?
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett?
Aye.
Commissioner Dahl?
Aye.
And I say aye. Motion passes unanimously. So given that we have now agreed to designate a subcommittee besides Commissioner Barnett, are there other people who would be willing to serve on this subcommittee?
This is Commissioner Barnett. I don't want to speak for Commissioner Sellers, but I would imagine that she would also be on the subcommittee, seeing that it was her idea and she has been coordinating it pretty heavily.
Okay. So we have a maybe on Commissioner Sellers, but for sure Commissioner Barnett. Anyone else would like to commit their time to this committee? Okay.
Commissioner Bloxsom, I don't know, honestly, I really don't know how much time I have left, but if I do have the time, I would like to be part of this committee. But I don't know. Scott, can you tell me, like, where I stand as far as, I don't know, when I'm getting booted?
Yes, Commissioner Bloxsom, your term does not expire until about a year from
I have
now.
To me, it looks like you're good for another year on the form that I have, but you're also in pink, so I don't know what that means.
Well, go ahead and put me on the subcommittee.
All right, you're on the subcommittee for now. We'll get that figured out later. So.
Yes. Scott Wagner, legal analyst. Commissioner Bloxsom has about another year to serve on the Human Relations Commission. She's good to go.
Awesome. See, I thought you were going to be abandoning us, and I'm thrilled to know that you're here for another year. Okay, so we have agreed then to form this committee, and right now this committee is Commissioner Barnett, Commissioner Bloxsom, and Commissioner Sellers, pending her approval. That's 3 people, which is basically what we can do with this size of a group. So. Good work. Next on our agenda is to consider designating members of the Human Relations Commission to work with Planning and Development Services staff, Parks and Recreation Department, the Watkins Museum, and the Rice and Dowdell families, and others to design markers and recommend placement opportunities for the markers to the City Commission. So I am a little confused by this request. I'm not exactly sure how designing markers fits in with our tasks, but I'm also open to a conversation about that. So if anybody has other thoughts on that. Is there other?
Chair Pryor, this is Casey Toomay, Staff Liaison. If it's helpful, I might just provide a little bit of additional background.
Oh.
So a request was made by the family of Christopher Rice earlier this year, and the city, the request was made to the city manager's office, and absent a formal process for those types of requests, the request went to the other HRC, the Historic Resources Commission, and they came back to the city commission with a recommendation that 2 things happen. One, this request be considered in a deeper context of the civil unrest that happened in the 1970s, specifically, I think, in 1970 here in Lawrence. And then 2, that a standing committee be created to have a group made up of members of the Historic Resources Commission and the Human Relations Commission and the Parks and Rec Department, as well as the Watkins Museum, I believe, to create a process for other requests for historical type markers in the city. I think the rationale behind including sorry, I keep making sure I get my HRCs right, the Human Relations Commission is that often we have learned that throughout history, only one perspective is told, or history only recognizes one perspective. And so the thought is that the Human Relations Commission could provide an avenue to gain some additional perspectives so that as those considerations about what to have a historical marker to recognize are placed, there's some additional perspectives that are being considered. I don't know if that answers or helps provide a little bit of background, but I'll stop there to answer questions if you have any.
No, I appreciate that. It makes a lot of sense for the Historical Resources Committee to be having this request. It just, and I could see having one of us potentially serve with them. Before we go on to approve creating a committee, though, I mean, I would feel like, first of all, it would probably just be one of us. And so I would like to ask the other commissioners, are any of you willing to serve on that, given that, you know, we've got other committees that we're having trouble getting people to join up with. So I don't want to commit to us forming a committee and then have nobody willing to do it. So I want to ask the other commissioners if you have thoughts, or if you have any of you who are interested in doing this work.
Commissioner Dahl, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to mention Commissioner Logan here. I'm tied to that story before I was born. So if anyone will volunteer, and if it's only going to be one, I'll go ahead and volunteer as tribute for that committee right now. Okay.
And Commissioner Dahl, were you also wanting to be on that committee?
No, I'm fine. I was going to volunteer if no one else does, but if Commissioner and Markus, I don't know.
We can have 2 people.
Okay.
That would be great.
Well, if you want and need two people, I'll be happy to volunteer for that too.
I think we can use 2 people for sure. So
Okay.
let me back up then, because I just wanted to kind of get the feel here before we actually committed that we were going to do this. So, so I need I would entertain a motion to designate members of the Human Relations Commission to work on planning and development services staff, the Parks and Recreation Department, the Watkins Museum, and the Rice and Dowdell families, and others to design markers and recommend placement opportunities for the markers to the City Commission.
This is Commissioner Bloxsom. I move that all you said is done.
So moved. May I have a second?
Commissioner Logan, I second the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Logan. It's been moved and seconded that we move forward with this committee. I'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Falls,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Bloxsom,
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett,
Aye.
Commissioner Dahl,
Aye.
and I say aye. So we are, once again, that passes unanimously. And we already have our volunteers, Commissioner Logan and Commissioner Dahl. Great work.
Thank you, Chair Pryor. I do want to note that we'll be coming back in October after the Historic Resources Commission has time to formulate more specifics on the long-term standing committee. This was just this particular project, so there'll be more opportunities for other people to serve if they're so inclined, or additional opportunities for Commissioner Logan and Commissioner Dahl to continue if they're interested as well.
Great. Thank you so much. Our next item is to receive it says receive follow-up report. Who do we receive that report from?
That would be me. This is Casey Toomay, staff liaison again. And I just wanted to get into the habit of kind of having in writing again, just follow-up items so that we don't lose track of things that you all discuss. So there were just 3 I wanted to put on here for this month. 2 that you talked about at your last meeting. 1, the question about kind of the Chapter 10 and how the process had changed regarding the role of this commission and investigating complaints. So I reached out to our city attorney's office, and because of the timing change of our meeting and some other factors, we weren't able to get that update complete on time for this month's agenda, but they are committed to that work and should have something for your October agenda. And then similar, at our last meeting, public comment was given by Mr. Flowers about how protest petitions are discriminatory against renters. Similarly, the attorney's office has begun that work, but needs some additional time, so we'll have that for your October meeting. So those are those 2 items. And then the third is just an update on the recruitment process for our Director of Equity and Inclusion. I believe Commissioner Sellers had asked this question. I did want to let you all and the public know that applications for the position have been closed and interviews are currently underway. So we are anticipating a final round of interviews. It says here anticipated for later this month, but those should be happening here in the next few days. So if all goes well, hope to have an announcement sooner rather than later regarding that very important position. So that's our update.
This is Commissioner Bloxsom. I have a question about that. Since we did, when this board was originally formed, we did have that person. I mean, and I know it's split off and the city attorney's office has taken some of that on. How much involvement is this new director? I wrote it down. How much involvement are they going to have with us necessarily in discrimination cases and looking at that? I mean, is this going to be something that can be taken back to that person that's separate from the city?
This is Casey Toomay, staff liaison again. I don't necessarily know that I have a complete answer for you at this time. I think that is definitely on the table for items that we'll be talking about. Some of it may depend on the qualifications of the final candidate that's selected, as to whether or not that's a decision that gets made immediately or maybe into the future. But I definitely think that when the position was being contemplated, there was a consideration that there may be some role in that process for the director position.
Good
Does
question.
that answer
Thank
your
you.
question?
Any other thoughts and questions about that? Or any other follow-ups? Okay, I have one last,
Chairman,
yeah.
we do have a person signed up for public comment for this item.
Oh, great.
Mr. Flowers.
Mr. Flowers, we'd love to hear public comment.
I will unmute you. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, this is Chris Flowers. I just mainly signed up because I wasn't sure what the report was going to say. Also, I was just going to also mention that that when it comes to the bike boulevards, that I believe Lawrence Avenue was also considered, but enough residents were against it that it didn't make the final cut for consideration for a bike boulevard. And I was just wondering if that was a protest petition, or is that something else that's different than a protest petition, but it's still counting the people who own properties are getting the vote and not renters. So I was just wondering if there's also other things besides protest petitions that the city might be doing that we should change it so that the renters are also getting a say in that also. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment, Mr. Flowers. We appreciate it. Anybody have any thoughts on that or anything to share with Mr. Flowers? I don't have any idea about that. I'm happy about 21st Street Bike Boulevard, but that's about all I know about it.
Chair Pryor, this is Casey Toomay, staff liaison. I'll be happy to go back and ask that additional question to the attorney's office. It may already be in some of the scope of the work that they're doing. I'm not for sure, but then I can follow up with Mr. Flowers.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. And then I have one calendar item here, which is the to consider changing the date of our October meeting to Monday, October 19th. I'm not sure why that request was made, but there is a request here. So,
Chair, this is Casey Toomay, staff liaison again. I put that on here because according to my calendar, October 12th, which is the second Monday of October, is Indigenous Peoples Day, and I didn't know if you all would want to meet that day, so I wanted to make sure to bring that to your attention and give you the option of not meeting.
Got it. Okay. Any commissioners have thoughts on that?
Commissioner Falls, here, is the city closed on that day?
Casey Toomay, staff liaison. No, we're open. I just didn't know what other people's plans were.
Commissioner Logan here, very thoughtful, Commissioner Toomay.
Yeah, I like that idea too. I mean, there are usually events going on in town to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. So I would entertain a motion, if you all are okay with it, to entertain a motion that we move the October meeting to the third Monday, which would be Monday, October 19th.
Commissioner Barnett here. I move that we change the meeting date to Monday, October 19th in recognition of Indigenous Peoples Day.
Can I get a second?
Commissioner Falls, I'll second that.
Okay. I had Commissioner Logan seconding it also. So whoever's taking notes, one of you came in first, but I'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on that. Commissioner Falls,
Aye.
Commissioner Logan,
Aye.
Commissioner Bloxsom,
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett,
Aye.
Commissioner Dahl. And I would say aye, so we so moved that we are changing our meeting in October. You also see the list there that following our next scheduled meetings, then will be October 19th at 5:30 p.m. The following month will be November 9th at 5:30 p.m. and then December 14th at 5:30 p.m. All right, if there's no more public comment, then I would offer a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Commissioner Barnett here. I am very proud of you, Chairman Pryor, for wrapping this up so quickly. I don't understand how every meeting I was over was 4 hours long, but I do move that we adjourn in less than an hour tonight. Thank you all so much.
This is Commissioner Bloxsom. I'm going to second that with the statement. Katie, you allowed some long overdue conversations to be had, and sometimes that takes time. So I second the motion to adjourn.
All right. Do I need to do a roll call vote on that too? Oh my, okay. Commissioner Falls.
Aye.
Commissioner Logan.
Aye.
Commissioner Bloxsom.
Aye.
Commissioner Barnett.
Aye.
Commissioner Dahl. And I say aye, and we are adjourned. Thank you. And you all have to let me know if you need more discussion, because I'm quick at meetings.
Thank you, everyone.
We're going to be in and out if we can be. So thank you all for your time, and I really appreciate all of you, and especially city staff, for all that you contribute to our meetings and having us informed. We appreciate you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great week, a
You
month.
too.
We'll see you in a month.
Thank you.